Hey everybody. Hey Texas. Um it looks like there's zero in here, so I don't know if Texas is still in here or not, but hey, um I did make it back from the Lexington Comic Con all in one piece. So I'm glad that I was able to get back in plenty of time to do this watch along for Bad Dreams. Now, I was sadly unable to find a digital copy. Okay, cool. Texas, I'm not sure if this thing is a little delayed at catching people. StreamYard's been, at least for me, it's been acting kind of funky for the last few weeks or so. Sometimes I won't see any chat messages in there, and then all of a sudden they'll jump down, and there was other kinds of screwy things going on. So I don't know. I don't know if just a bunch of people are doing streams on StreamYard and that's causing problem or what, but I'm not going to worry about it. Um, yes, Texas, I did have a great time at the Lexington Comic Con. I did get to meet the only Sam Raimi. Some of you that are my friends on Facebook may have laughed at the comment that I put on there, which basically said, "I met the man, the legend, Sam Raimi. I can now die a happy woman." But I mean, it Sam Raimi was one of the last few big ones for me as far as people that I would want to meet. Now, yeah, $75 for an autograph was kind of steep. I'm not going to lie, but I am still glad that I met him. I was a little disappointed and I'm sure this probably wasn't a choice that Sam Raimi made. This was probably some choice that was made on up the up the chain a little bit. Um, uh, Actually, I'll read that in just a second. I kind of got distracted. I was looking at that, and anyway, either the powers that be at the convention or maybe Sam Raimi's agent, his handler, um, whoever. I used to blame the actors and actresses and directors and stuff like that, but now I'm not so sure if it's them or somebody else. Um, but he was very sweet. Seemed almost shy, kind of, and it was a pleasure to meet him. Um, I'm not gonna lie that $75 is steep. And I'm probably crazy for paying it, plus paying the $60 per ticket to even get in the place. Um, and $20 plus tax for parking. Forgot to add that into it. But that's all the venue's fault. They pretty much rape people as far as event parking because you get up there to where you pay for the parking, and there's a big sign out there that says uh, the most they can charge is $12, and then they've got this big electronic sign that says event parking $20 plus tax. I was like, damn, people, golly. So it was $120 for two tickets because I wasn't going to ask Steve to take me without buying his ticket. So that was $120 for tickets, $20 plus tax for parking, and $75 for Sam Raimi's autograph. So I spent a lot. I spent a lot this weekend. And if I had gotten a photo op, I would have been even more money, but I chose not to. So um, I think some of the people were allowing you to take pictures at their table. Um, but it was an added cost, which I probably would have paid that. I don't know. I really wanted the autograph. I got my autograph on my Evil Dead poster, so now I have it. But I will say, if you do ever get a chance to meet Sam Raimi and you have not, I would say he's worth it. I mean, again, $75 is steep, but the experience of being able to meet him and, I know they hear this probably a gazillion times a day at a convention when they are guests. But I did tell him, I shook his hand. I said, Mr. Ramey, it's so nice to be able to finally meet you. And I'm a huge fan. Um, and he asked me my name, and I said Dana, and he said, "That's a beautiful name." Now, he may have been just saying that just to make me feel good. And he said, "I love the way you say things," which I'm guessing he liked my accent. And so he signed Sam Raimi on my poster, and he drew a little like ghost picture on there, and he thanked me for coming, and all of that. And so that all of that whole experience rolled into one was was awesome. And it's something that I told Steve I'll carry with me from now until the day I die, unless I get senile and forget one of these days that I met Sam Raimi, you know. But it was a nice experience. I did get to see Uncle Bill. Uncle Bill was at the convention as well. And after I got my autograph, we went back to where Uncle Bill was still having to wait in line to get his item signed, and he had a Evil Dead poster, I believe, as well. And I'm probably gonna have to go tell Sammy to be quiet if he doesn't quit barking and whining. Um, but so Uncle Bill is in here. Hey, Uncle Bill. He says Raimi was awesome. So you've got me saying this, and not only me saying this, but you got Uncle Bill saying it as well. So I'm guessing that Uncle Bill had a nice experience with Sam Raimi as well. So you got two, people telling you that it was a good experience. Uh, so let me go back. Uh, X-ray, you say, hope you got your copy of Cop Forgives. I don't sign. I don't actually have a copy of that, X-ray. X-ray, you say he charged that much. Damn, that dude does Doctor Strange money. Yeah, and again, I don't know who sets these prices. Like I said, I used to blame the actor, actress, director. I don't know for sure who does that. Um, but all I can say is Sam Raimi seemed very gracious, very, very nice and sweet. Didn't put on airs at all. Didn't act like a guy that has not only directed some of the greatest horror movies out there, in my opinion, but also a guy that has directed Spider-Man movies, Doctor Strange movie, and on and on and on. So it definitely, if you can, if he comes to your neck of the woods and you can afford it, I say go for it. No, he's he's nothing like Tony Moran, X-Ray. Trust me, nothing like Tony Moran. You say X-Ray. You say Tony will sign stuff for Popeye's mac and cheese. uh, yes, Uncle Bill, I am here. Blair, you say you thought Lloyd Kaufman was a nice guy. Now, I've seen Lloyd Kaufman at conventions, but I've never went up and met him, so I can't really say either way. X-ray, you say, damn, Dare, you gave Raimi the vapors. And then when we were, after I got my autograph, I looked over and there was Ted Raimi. Like I could hear him talking to people, and I looked over and I saw Ted. But I've already met Ted, and I didn't get an autograph when I met Ted. He was allowing you to take pictures at his table at that particular convention I saw him at, and I mean, you had to pay some, but you still got that picture at the table. Um, yes, Uncle Bill. Hold on just a second. I'll put that link back in the chat here in just one second. Let me just get caught up. Hold on, guys. I gotta go see what Sammy's barking at because he's probably gonna disturb Steve. Hopefully, I don't have to do this 50 million times. Sam, be quiet. Oh my God, disturb. He's had a big day today. Okay, hopefully I won't have to do that a bunch of times. Hey, old curly jaws, you say, hey, everyone, trailer for my brand new film dropped. Amityville Old Curly Jaws, better than that piece of shit Amityville Karen. I'm betting it is, old curly jaws. You say Booker T is a nice guy? Oh, I'm sure he is. There were some wrestling people at this convention. We walked past Mark Henry. We saw him. I didn't see the Rock and Roll Express, but they were supposed to be there. X-Ray, you say, oh, Curly Jaw's favorite tag team was Booker T and Code Dust. Yes, welcome back, old Curly Jaws. That's right, Texas. Okay, so let me put this link back in the chat so that Uncle Bill can get in here. Hold on just a second. And anybody else, wants to come in live on the stream tonight. Okay, Uncle Bill, I just put that StreamYard link back in the chat anytime you're ready. And I'm actually, when I get Uncle Bill on here, I am going to, sorry for the glare on there, I'm actually going to do an unboxing, which, about to drop it. Because I got this in today. This is my City of the Living Dead, aka Gates of Hell 4K. That I just got in from Diabolic DVD. Steve got his in Friday. Or no, maybe it was, no, it wasn't Friday. We watched it Friday. He got it in a few days earlier. But I ordered mine or pre-ordered mine before Steve, or after Steve did. I promise you, I haven't been drinking a lot today. We did go to BD Mongolians, or the Mongolian Grill in Lexington after the convention, because we got out of there way earlier than Steve thought we were. Yes, as Texas says, all you mofos hit the thumbs up. That's exactly right. Actually, believe it or not, and it's weird. I don't know what is going on. It says I have 0 live viewers, and we got several of you in here. So I don't know. Like I said, StreamYard's been acting funky, so I ain't gonna worry about it. But anyway, I did have one alcoholic drink with my lunch, and that was a fruit punch, or passion fruit punch. Sorry. X-Ray, you said there's Mongolian cuisine in Kentucky? Hey, there's old Curly Jaws. Where's Uncle Bill at? He said he wanted to come in here. I'm going to add old Curly Jaws here in a second. Where you at, Uncle Bill? Better hurry up, or me and old Curly Jaws going to be running the show here. Hopefully Uncle Bill didn't get kicked out. I'm going to kill Sammy if he doesn't be quiet. I don't know why he is barking like that. Like I said, I hope once we get this movie started, I don't have to keep getting up and leaving, or I'm going to be kind of PO'd if I have to keep doing that. Well, actually, there's the Mongolian Grill X-Ray. Oh my God. Hold on, guys. I guess I'm going to have to bring Brandon back here. Sammy, be quiet. Stop it. don't be bothered. Find a place to lay down and be good. Ah, there's Uncle Bill. I go away and there's Uncle Bill. Let's see. Okay, so let's add old Curly Jaws. Hey, old Curly Jaws.
What's up?
Not a whole lot, just fighting with these dogs. I'm gonna add Uncle Bill. Hey, Uncle Bill, you still alive?
What's up, bulls?
What's up?
So yeah, I just came in to talk about the whole convention fiasco, like convention whatever kind of talk.
All right, let's hear your take on it. I
Hold on
kind
one
of
second.
my take.
Let me fix my shit here, Dan.
Okay.
I didn't even know there was a convention. Was it in Louisville?
No, it
No,
was
in Lexington.
Ah,
Comic-Con.
shit, I didn't even know that was happening.
Kevin Smith was supposed to be there today, oh Curly Jaws, but I think his plane was delayed. Flight got canceled or something. He's going to be there tomorrow, I think.
I didn't even know they was doing any conventions. I'm fucking. They don't promote them half the time on like. That's how I know if they're all gonna happen if they're on Facebook. But I didn't see no promotions for that or anything.
I think this one probably had. I don't know how many people were there, but like, it was the most crowded convention I think I've ever been to. Like by a pretty long shot, actually.
Pretty crowded.
We got there. It opened at 10, and we got there at about 10:30. And the line, I don't even know really how to describe it to you, but I would say that we waited in a line about the size of like a football field. Like that's if you stretch it out entirely, it would probably be about that size because it wound around the entire building, basically. So it took about 45 minutes to just get in the building. And then, like, we had to wait in another line once you get in the building to get your tickets. Like,
That's ridiculous.
To go through and show your ticket. So that took about another 20 minutes. So by that point, I was just kind of like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the experience that I had was great, but I'm just over conventions, man. They've gotten too big at this point. Like, they're too damn big now. Like, there are just too many people going to them because you couldn't move. Like, when you got in there, you were basically like 6 inches from anybody, like around you, like the entire time. And it was just like claustrophobic. Anyway, so the only purpose that I had being there was just to meet Sam Raimi because I've never met him. He's never been anywhere around here or anything like that. And this is the first show he's not canceled that I can remember in this area that he's actually shown up to. So
is he known for canceling a lot?
Yeah, I think it was last year or the year before that. He had said he was going to be at one of those shows and he canceled.
I think Horror Hound, wasn't it?
There may have been a couple of those, Dana, that he did that too, actually.
I know one time he had to cancel because they gave him the new Doctor Strange movie. And,
I kind of get that.
You know he's not going to fucking say no to Doctor Strange.
No. And he made a decent movie with that. I mean, I liked it.
Everybody shat on it. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
He's like, which one? He's like, which one should I do? Meet a bunch of nerds or go make like $20 million?
Exactly.
It's like,
yeah. And so I take it you had a good experience, Uncle Bill, with meeting him.
Yeah.
Did you meet Mark Henry?
No, I didn't even see Mark Henry the whole time that I was there.
We saw Mark Henry, but I wasn't going to go up and meet him.
I walked right past Danhausen. Like, he was literally like just standing around. And I saw him.
I would have got his autograph.
He was just standing there, though. He was in the T-shirt section, like where we were at, looking around at T-shirts.
You should have just gave him a clothesline.
I should have just been like very nice, very evil, and then just walked away. But anyway, so I hated the way they had this convention set up, and nobody really knew what the hell that they were doing. But like, let me explain this to you. This is what happened. So the celebrities that you are to meet are at the bottom level, like level 1, and you're at the 3rd level. So you have to go all the way down the escalator to get to them in like a dungeon, basically. And once I got up there, there was like, it looked like you could just walk in, and his line really was kind of backed up, but just a little bit at that point. It looked like you could just walk into his line, and he was getting ready to come out and sign. But when I got into the line, it was like, this is for people who have prepaid autograph tickets already. And I was like, what? I hadn't even seen anything about prepaid like autograph tickets. So, and nobody had said anything about it. So I got out of that line and got back in like another small line to just buy the autograph ticket, right? So I buy that, and the woman's like, right when I get up there, the woman's like, stop. This line back here is getting like too backed up. Like everybody's gonna have to like clear out, yada yada yada. Like we gotta get everybody like to a different place. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Because I thought you could just buy the ticket and then get in the line to actually meet him. But, oh no, you buy the ticket, just like a little ticket to get an autograph. Then your ass goes downstairs in the loading dock, which is like the basement, and you have another line that's like just to get up.
That's fucking ridiculous.
To meet him. So I was like, God damn, man.
No, I ain't doing all that. I don't give a fuck who you are. That's like when I went to go meet Alice Cooper, and they're like, you got to buy a ticket to meet Alice Cooper, and then you got to wait. I'm like, fuck you. That's what a security person told me. I'm like, no.
Yeah. So I waited in that line for probably an hour, and it was just like people just standing there. Nothing really moved for about like 45 minutes or something like that. And then what they were doing was they were taking people from the downstairs loading dock, and they would move them up there when like a little spot cleared out, like because he had like the the Z formation line up in front of his table. And so like when that cleared out a little bit, they would move more people from downstairs upstairs. It was like a damn concentration camp or something. Like you were getting moved into and gassed. I don't know how else to explain it. Like so I get up there finally, and like I know in my head that I'm not nervous at all, because I know in my head this is the last person I'm ever going to meet at a convention. This is the last time I'm ever going to meet anybody at a show, like for sure. Like this whole thing kind of summed up. So I just walked up to him. I was like, "Hey Sam, like how you doing? Like it's great to meet you. It's an honor to be here." I said, "I've had this poster for 20 years, and like you're the last guy that I need to sign it." And he was like, "Oh wow." He's like, "That's really awesome." Like he's like, "Did you keep it? Like where did you keep it?" And I was like, "I kept it in my room. Like it's been hung up for probably almost 20 years now." And he was like, he kind of like unfolded it, and he was looking at it and looked at some of the signatures and stuff. And he was like, what did he say exactly? He goes, well, do you want me to put anything on it or anything like that? And I was like, yeah, I mean, if you could just like put on there my name, and then I don't know if you're writing anything on it or not. And he said, yeah, I can. And I was like, well, then just write no fake shimps, like write that on it. And he started laughing, and he was like, okay. And he wrote that on there, wrote his name. And I was like, I just wanted to thank you for like revolutionizing horror films, because you really did. And he was like, no, he's like, I mean, it's an honor for you to come up here and say that. I appreciate it. Shook my hand. And that was pretty much, I mean, he couldn't have been any nicer,
Right.
like if he absolutely had to be. And I mean, it was one of the better experiences just altogether that I've had meeting anybody.
So how many people was bringing Spider-Man shit?
There was, I'd say in that mix, it was 50-50. Like 50% of those people were like Marvel people bringing shit, like, and then 50% were like Evil Dead people.
Yeah, I got to tell a story about MacBook Boy though.
I didn't know. I didn't have anything like this happen.
I heard a little bit of this from me and Steve, because after I got my autograph, we went back down to that loading dock area. And we just told them, we said, we got a friend back there that's standing in line. Can we just go back there and talk to him? And they were like, yeah, sure, go back there. So there was a young guy that was in front of me and Steve. Like we were like the third or I was the third person to get an autograph. So I got up there pretty quickly and got back out of there. But anyway, there's this young guy, and oh my gosh, I know I am a huge Evil Dead nerd. I know I am. I'm self confessed. I'm a nerd when it comes to those movies. But this kid was going on with these other couple of people that was in front of me, and he kept going on and just super analyzing like every scene in the movie The Evil Dead. I'm like, okay, I get it. You love this movie, but do you have to analyze everything? And he was being really, I'm sure Uncle Bill's heard this stuff before. The way young people talk now, we sound like we're ancient, but the way young people talk about movies or music or anything now is just so weird. And no offense, oh curly jaws.
It's very annoying.
But I hear it in restaurants. I hear it at conventions.
What? So was he like just going into full details about it, or?
Yeah, it was like he was explaining the Kennedy assassination or something. I mean, I am not kidding. It was like I kept expecting him to start talking about the grassy knoll or something. It was like, what in the heck? And then when he got up to Sam Raimi and was talking to him, he gets out his MacBook, because me and Steve were like, why has he got this MacBook with him? He gets the MacBook out, opens it up, and starts showing Sam Raimi something on it. And of course, Sam Raimi's trying to be gracious and nice and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like really interested. I'm like, what in the hell is he showing? What is he doing?
I'll bet at that point there was a dude standing behind Sam Raimi that was kind of looked like he was in the fucking Secret Service. Like, I'm not even kidding either. Like, he had a United States lapel pin, you know what I mean? And like he was in a blazer, bald, like shaved, and he was just standing there like watching people.
That guy. Yeah, he talked to me and Steve a little bit. I mean, he seemed nice enough, but yeah, I know which guy.
You could tell he was some serious security. Yeah.
Was he like the most famous person there?
I would say he was up there. Like, the only other person that, like, you had Warwick Davis, you had Tom Kenny.
Oh, Warwick Davis was there, bruh.
Yeah,
nobody told me this.
$120, so curly jaws.
If I knew this convention was happening, I would have fucking went for Warwick Davis.
He was $120, curly jaws.
Jesus fucking.
He was almost twice as much as Sam Raimi to get a signature from. If you think about that, like, how does that make any fucking sense?
I mean, I'd get my Leprechaun in the Hood poster signed by him, but damn.
You have to. I mean, yeah.
I mean, do I get a piece of gold from him?
This was something killer too, though. I didn't see this, but Savannah was telling me about it. I guess. Listen, I'm trying not to laugh at this. I guess because like he has to move around that convention like as much as he does, and he's like really small. Like, he's like, even for like a small person, he's small. He's got his own. I'm not making this up. His own personalized hoverboard that he goes from spot to spot on.
Fucking killer.
And they were standing there, and he just like zoomed by him on that hoverboard, and it like lit up like they had lights on it and shit.
Oh man, I didn't get to see that.
So just visualize that for a minute. Like, fucking Warwick Davis just on a hoverboard, like zooming around this convention.
He's gonna end up getting clotheslined by somebody.
He's gonna fall off and like kill himself.
So was he doing photo ops? Like, was he doing like Leprechaun photo ops?
No, he was just doing regular.
Oh,
he was just doing regular photo ops.
If he was doing I'd probably do the photo op. I mean, that'd be dope. I love those movies. Those movies I grew up watching those.
So, Uncle Bill, did you ask him anything about a picture, or did you just say like forget it when you got up there about taking?
Well, you'd already told me that he wasn't doing it, so I just kind of was like, ain't no sense in that.
Yeah.
Why was he not taking photos?
because he had photo ops, and like
Yeah.
normally when they do photo ops, they don't take shit at the table. or
You
anything.
didn't want to do the photo op?
No, I didn't want to spend another $75. I'm
Yeah,
fine with
that was
this.
me too. I thought about it for half a second, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing
I
it.
mean, see, now you're gonna be like, I should have got that fucking photo.
Fucking photo op.
Well, the way I look at it, and this is what I told Steve, I said, unless I get senile and can't remember on down the road that I met Sam Raimi, I have that memory in my brain of going up. I know I met him. I know he signed my poster. I shook his hand, and I have that memory of he told me I had a beautiful name. I'll tell you that because he asked my name and I told him, he said, Dana, that's a beautiful name. Now, he might have just been saying that just to be nice, but it made me
now,
feel good.
now his next movie's gonna have somebody named Dana in the movie.
That'd be
Bet
awesome.
money. I bet it.
would
I bet it's
be.
gonna happen.
So,
I mean, he genuinely though looked like he wanted to be there. Like
Yeah,
that was not like what I thought was going to happen. Like somebody that big is usually a dick. Like that's just kind of how it is.
Do you think that's a one and done for him, or do you think he'll do more of them?
Well, I was talking to. That's funny you mentioned that because Garrett was telling me last night that he has made a bunch of dates like up the Northeast. So I guess he's doing some sort of tour or something where he's going to different conventions. So he's coming around to where Garrett lives, which is up in like Rhode Island, around that
Yeah.
area.
Rhode Island.
Just out of all the places, it's just a bizarre place for me. But yeah, he's apparently, I guess he's trying to support Evil Dead Rise, maybe or something. Like,
I mean, that'd be the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited about Evil Dead Rise, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna see it.
I'm gonna go see it just because it kind of reminds me of the last one a little bit. So.
Well, I'm just forgetting that remake exists. I've wiped my brain clean of that. I don't want to think about it. But
something tells me if you didn't like the remake, Danny, you're not going to like this.
Well, I don't know. I think why I'm more receptive to this is because they're not
in the forest
trying to make. Well, they're not trying to do a remake, and they're not trying to. And I know people tried to explain this to me. Dirk tried to explain it to me about the whole addiction thing and stuff. I hated that. I absolutely hated that. I didn't expect a shot for shot remake to look exactly like Sam Raimi's movie, but I did not like that addiction thing. I thought that was the stupidest thing ever. It just didn't gel with me. And maybe that's because I've never had like a severe addiction. I mean, Dirk was telling me he's had demons in his past with addiction. And so that's kind of spoke to him. He understood that, but I didn't understand it and thought it was a dumb idea. Darren is like that too. Darren didn't like the whole addiction thing with the remake, but
I mean, I think the only point of that was just for them to say that they thought she was just going through withdrawal and all that, like rather than being possessed and stuff. So yeah.
So is Evil Dead Rise like it's not a sequel to anything? It's just a brand new like story, or
it looks to me like Demons 2. I don't know if you've ever seen Demons 2, but that's exactly what that movie looks like.
I've seen the Demons remake. I haven't seen the original Demons 2.
Basically, in Demons 2, like all these people are in this high rise. The demons take over the high rise and kind of like go through it, killing everybody, and that's exactly what Evil Dead Rise looks like.
Right. Which I like Demons too, so maybe that's another reason I like.
I think my only problem with Evil Dead Rise is the poster is fucking awful.
I haven't seen the poster.
I haven't seen the poster.
Yeah, look, okay. Did you see the poster for Smile or whatever the hell that movie is called? That one where they're like grinning. Like,
oh yeah,
looks just like that.
They have to make shit like that now because Smile did well, so everything's going to look like that for a while.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Smile, I liked Smile until it got to the end. And then I looked at Steve and I was like, that is the end? Are you kidding me?
That ending was pretty fucking stupid. It looked awful.
And Steve looked at me and he said, What do you mean?
I mean,
I said it didn't have an ending. He said, yes, it did. And I
no,
said,
okay. I'm gonna have to. I mean, I haven't seen the movie. I have not seen the movie, so I can't say. But there is movies that say, "Oh, that's a stupid ending." A lot of people said the movie, the Blair Witch, the ending to the Blair Witch Project had a stupid ending. So,
well, I disagree with that. The Blair Witch Project, that was an appropriate ending. I got that ending, but some of the endings in movies now, they either just go to a black screen and nothing happens, or I feel like they just cop out. And I'm not going to explain any more than that in reference to Smile because Curly Jaws hadn't seen it.
I want to watch it. I've heard it's good.
Might not have. I don't want to give it away for them, but
like my mom, she saw the Blair Witch Project. Like my cousin showed it to her on VHS back in the day, and she said that was the stupidest movie she ever seen in her life. And then I watched it, when I got older, and I'm like, that movie was fucking terrifying. What are you talking about?
I always like to wait a little while and then watch the Blair Witch Project. I don't like to watch it, in real close succession. I'll wait maybe a few years and then just decide I'm going to watch it again. That's the way I like to do that one. But does anybody want to watch me do the unboxing for my City of the Living Dead that I got?
Oh, hell yeah. I got that in today too, Dana.
Did you?
Yeah.
Steve already got his in. But I'm just going to open this thing up here.
It's pretty badass and brutal. I'll say that.
Yeah, I looked at Steve's, and so I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. This came from good old Jesse at Diabolic.
Diabolic.
So you get, not only do you get the fantastic 4K of this thing, which it looks really, really good because we've already watched Steve's, of course. I couldn't wait. And you get a soundtrack, which I'm eagerly anticipating listening to this. You get.
Don't forget the sticker sheet.
I'm going to show these stickers. Well, maybe I am. I don't think I'll get kicked off of YouTube for showing the blow up doll, the sex doll. But
I mean, you don't know. I mean, fucking, I got banned art. I mean,
hopefully
I knew he was going to bring that up. Yeah.
They fucking,
you never know, really.
So you never know. You get this cool mini poster. There's the original artwork.
Oh, that's cool.
There's the new artwork with the woman with the.
I still like the original artwork.
You like the original artwork for that?
Yeah.
And now the coup de grace of this package is the sticker sheet. Woo!
Scratch and sniff, Dana.
Well, these are so funny there. I don't know if you can see that bottom one. That's supposed to be Bob getting his head drilled down there. It's so funny.
I can't believe that. That's such an odd thing to include in that. But
yeah, the chick throwing up or puking up her entire intestinal tract. You got the priest that hanged himself. I guess Christopher George getting his brains pulled out of the back of his head. Yeah, all kinds of fun stuff there. And I started watching the newer interview with Giovanni last night, but I will warn you if you got this release or you're getting it. I know Giovanni speaks really good English, but you'll have to read subtitles on this new interview because I don't think he speaks a bit of English in the whole interview. So be prepared to. Don't be sleepy when you watch it because you got to read subtitles. But
that's weird because he speaks perfectly good English.
Yeah, and on the commentary, of course, if you listen to the commentary, which is a few years old, of course, that I think Caleb Waddle did with him for The Living Dead, because David Hess was still alive whenever they did that commentary because he was talking about David Hess, his good friend David Hess, and that they were working on some projects at that time. And also, when I interviewed Giovanni back when I was doing the fanzine, I know Uncle Bill remembers this. He told me that he had some projects in the works to complete with David Hess. So I don't know if they ever completed all those things. But and he told some funny stories on that commentary of like I'm not gonna tell the whole thing, but like he was talking about sexual stuff, having to have sex scenes in movies and how uncomfortable it was for both the actors and actresses to do that stuff, because generally you have to get naked and and you're not in private. There's crew members all around doing things and lighting and all that stuff. He says it's just very, very uncomfortable. But he said he had a discussion with David Hess about when David Hess does a sex scene with a woman in a movie, he always gets an erection. And I was like, what in the heck? And so Giovanni said, I don't get like that. He said David Hess was talking about all this macho stuff in connection with it. And he said, I just, it's very uncomfortable for me. But he says he likes kissing. He says he's made actresses kind of uncomfortable before because he enjoys kissing. He said that's his favorite sexual.
I want you to kiss me. Give me a smooch on the lips.
But
Come on.
I know people have talked about Giovanni being gay for a long time.
Oh,
and in this new interview, if you watch it, he does talk about he had an ex-wife. So I think he's got a kid or maybe more than one kid, but
he's got 16.
But he did say that he was bisexual on this interview. He says, I've slept with women, I've slept with men. So there you go, in case anybody was wondering about the sexual.
I mean, I think we kind of knew that 15 years ago. We kind of figured that one out in terms of just.
I didn't know if anybody knew that he was bisexual. I thought maybe they thought he thought he was straight, and went, for several years being married to a woman, and then he just decided, no, I'm gay, But evidently he likes both. So
I think I could be wrong about this, Dana, because I can't remember half this stuff. I think we interviewed him on the show. I think we did at some point in time.
I'm trying to remember and I can't remember.
Because there was a period where we did a bunch of European interviews. Catriona McCall was on there.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure he was one of them too. And then the other guy, oh God, I can't remember his name. It was in a lot of those movies. So we were trying to get a bunch of people like that, but I can't remember a damn thing about it because.
Well, you slept since then, Uncle Bill.
Yeah, it's been 15 years now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I get all that. So, Uncle Bill, are you just going to be on here for just a few minutes, or do you want to participate in the watch along? Do you have a copy of Bad Dreams?
I do somewhere, but no, I was just going to pop on here and talk about the convention and everything, because I know that you'd been there and just kind of wanted to talk about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're welcome to stay on as long as you want. I mean, you can stay on here and talk about anything you want. You don't necessarily have to talk about the movie. Or I don't know if Old Curly Jaws was going to watch the movie. Do you have a copy of the movie Old Curly Jaws?
I've never even heard of it. I thought it was when I saw Bad Dreams, I was thinking of this. I was thinking of a completely different movie. I can't think of it. It's like a rip-off of Freddy, but I cannot remember what the hell that movie was called.
Well, I mean, some people liken this one to A Nightmare on Elm Street, and it has the very wacky Richard Lynch.
Some bitch that tore my poster all to pieces, yeah.
Exactly. Oh, man. It was
Richard Lynch.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you, I don't think that, I'm just going to say allegedly, Richard Lynch had a pretty bad substance abuse problems. And allegedly, but in reality, yeah, he definitely did, because when I met him, he was completely out of his fucking gourd. He didn't know what was going on. He like grabbed my poster and was like trying to unroll it, and he was like turning it and shit like that, and then ripped it. And he didn't even know where he was at. I don't think he died shortly after that too. Sadly, so
Yeah.
did Danny Steinman. Come think of it.
That was
all
like
these-
when I met Gary Busey. He was out of his fucking rocker too.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like these guys, like, they're high pretty much all the time. Like, I mean, and not like just kind of, on a fun recreational high, more like on a crazy meth / like crack cocaine bender or something.
I mean, I remember literally Gary Busey dropped a donut on the floor and then he was trying to eat it off the floor. I'm like, what are you
I remember
doing?
you talking about that.
The fuck's
Sounds
wrong
about
with
right. Yeah.
Oh,
you? I
man.
mean, I still got his signature right here on my arm when I met him.
Gotta love the Buse, though. Even though he did, I don't think he'll be ever doing any more conventions after that last one.
I'm surprised that I hate to say this, but I'm surprised Gary Busey isn't dead already. He's outlived some of these other guys.
Yeah.
He's going to be one of those guys that lives to be like at least 90 something.
I mean, they just burn themselves out so early. Some of these guys, it's sad. Really, really sad.
But I'll get off here, Dana, and I'll let you do the watch
Okay,
along.
well, you're welcome back anytime, Uncle Bill. And as I told Uncle Bill today at the convention, I'm thinking about doing a series of streams on Twin Peaks, the original Twin Peaks episodes. So if anybody wants to join me for those, I should be doing those shortly. So
that'll be awesome. Yeah, I will definitely join you on that, Dana.
okay. Well, you take care, Uncle Bill, and I'll see you next time on here.
All right, I'll see you, Curly Jaws. See you,
I'll
Dana.
see, Bubba.
See ya. All right, so let me catch up on these chat messages here real quick. Here, let's see. X-Ray says Evil Dead Rise looks like Demons 2, sans the creativity. X-Ray also says the poster should have been more like the Poltergeist 3 poster. X-Ray says Blair Witch was divisive when it came out and still is. Hey, Rooster. Rooster says, Dana, I watched The Dead Next Door. It was a fun watch. I was surprised how good the Super 8 film looked. Film looks so much better than video and digital. Yes, I agree on all those points, Rooster. And I'm also glad that you like The Dead Next Door. I would recommend that one to anybody that likes the same types of films that basically all of us, including old Curly Jaws, because he likes some of those low budget kind of independent type.
That's what my new movie is pretty much. It's a really low budget, but I do plan on getting Danielle Harris to be in it.
There you go.
Yeah, she's gonna be in it. She's gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Oh wow, Texas! It's been 1 year since that picture of you with the T-shirt and it has Uncle Bill's face on it. I had forgotten that it was 1 year anniversary of that. Wow. Time flies, don't it?
Yeah, I haven't got to tell you. I haven't got to tell anybody here in the chat, on the streams here lately. I got my own network now. I got my own streaming service and everything.
Awesome.
It's not really a streaming service. It's more like a subscription service, put it that way.
Well, that's cool, though.
Yeah, it's $15 per month for 30 requests, like video requests, like topics and all that.
Neat. So what company did you go through to get that set up?
I just did it through my PayPal. There's people just PayPal me the 15 and they get 30 requests per month and other perks as well. But I've already got 2 subscribers. It's been amazing so far.
Wow. Well, I hope you keep doing that. It sounds like fun, and it sounds like,
Oh yeah,
I mean,
it keeps me busy.
I hate to bring money into it, but those kind of things do give you a little extra side money. I mean, I don't think any of us are going to get rich on it, but it's nice to have a
No,
little bit of.
it helps. Like
uh,
the money is mostly used for like like stuff that food and shit like that, like and all that. It's just nice to have a little side money. So I thought it would add, people. I know people would be like, man, if I could like ask our Curly Josh to do a video about anything, that's an option now. So
And if Warwick Davis comes back to a convention, you can save up and get $120 and go get his autograph.
I'm gonna be like, I want you to I'm personally gonna have him sign like my some. It's if I'm spending that kind of money, he's signing my body.
There you go.
Like I Warwick Davis just signed my throat.
You'll have one.
He'd probably be scared, honestly. He's like, what the fuck?
Oh man. Well, you know what? Money's money. I bet you if you
Yeah.
gave him that $120, he'd do it.
I'm like, shh. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty great deal. Like, I mean, it's probably one of the best like subscription services ever, honestly, for what you get for it.
Yeah, it sounds awesome to me. I think I was just I get distracted by things so easily. I noticed that they got a couple of new buttons here on StreamYard. It's like it's got edit layout and new layout. There's two little buttons, but I'm not going to experiment with them now because I'm afraid that it might mess something up during the stream. So, guys, I have my Blu-ray all queued up in the Blu-ray drive because like I said, I couldn't find a digital copy or a streaming copy or anything like that. And I think John, movie junkie John, who is a genius at finding some of these free streams for movies, he's been kind of taking a break from basically being on streams for a while, not because he's mad at anybody or because there's trouble, but it's personal reasons. And he told me he didn't care for people knowing why he was doing it, but I'm going to let him, if he wants to go on a stream and say what those personal reasons are, but I'm just going to respect his privacy and I'm not going to, divulge that. So, just in case people been wondering where Movie Junkie John is, he hasn't been in my streams. I'm assuming he hasn't been in other people's streams.
We do miss him though. We
Yes,
really do miss him.
yeah, and I told him I'd be thinking about him and stuff, and basically all of you guys have, at least on my streams, you have a place to come home to. Even if you go away for a while for whatever reason and you want to come back, you have a place here. I will always welcome you with open arms. Like I say, unless somebody acts like an asshole, and none of you guys have. So we're good there.
We're looking at you.
I'll send old curly jaws after you if you become an asshole.
You ever seen Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
It seems like I have. I watched a whole bunch of Jay and Silent Bob movies and just Kevin Smith movies in general. Whenever
That would be a really fun. That would be a really fun stream just to do a marathon. Just talking about all his films.
yeah, because I liked a lot of Kevin Smith's early stuff, like and I know you like Tusk. I know that.
I love Tusk.
And no offense, but I hated that movie, and I haven't much cared for a lot of the recent stuff Kevin Smith has.
There's a lot of people that don't like his newer stuff, and I get it. But I love all his stuff, even the bad ones. Like I don't like. I know Cop Out's terrible, but I mean I'll watch it. But I like all his new stuff, like the new Jay and Silent Bob, the new Clerks movie,
right?
Yoga Hosers. I went to the screening to see that.
I mean, to each his own, and I don't begrudge anybody if they like the new stuff. That's perfectly fine. I just, the old stuff is fine. I will go back and watch all that stuff all day long. I thought that stuff was hilarious. My cousin Jed, who I've mentioned before, was my movie watching buddy for a long time. He would bring, at that point in time, and he probably still is, but at that point in time when he would come over to my mom and dad's house every Sunday, and he would have lunch with me. I'd fix us some kind of lunch, and we would sit there and we would watch movies all afternoon long. It was just one right after the other because basically you're young, you don't have a lot of responsibilities, and you especially don't have responsibilities on a weekend. So it's like, what the hey, we'll just watch movies all weekend. He would bring a bunch of Kevin Smith related stuff there every week for a few weeks, and we would just watch one, take that one out, put another one in, watch it, and it was just fun. He's the one that introduced me to Kevin Smith movies. I would say he's definitely the one that did that.
I think Dogma is one of my favorites.
Yeah, Dogma was good. I really like Clerks. I thought Clerks was hilarious.
Clerks is an amazing movie, and I feel like I feel like it should get more appreciation. Like it's one of those films that is just a masterpiece.
And I thought Chasing Amy was funny too. All that stuff. That was
Mallrats.
Yeah, Mallrats. All that stuff was right up my alley at that point in time. So, hey, Blissful. And Blissful says, "Hi, old curly jaws."
Hey, Blissful.
Well, thank you, Blair. You say we appreciate you, Dana. Well, I appreciate all you guys. Look, because who would I do these things for if I didn't have an audience? And I always usually have an audience whenever I'm doing anything, even if it's just a handful of people. I don't mind. That means the world to me. X-Ray says Kevin Smith hasn't been the same since he broke that airplane toilet during his 5 years. I didn't even know he did that.
I didn't know. I mean, I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. I didn't even know he did that.
X-Ray said when he lost weight, he started to suck.
See, I always thought he was great. Like I don't know. I always loved his movies. Like to me, he's never made a bad. Really, I mean, Cop Out could say is probably his worst film. Like, but other than that, like I like everything after that.
I think I was just looking at Tusk and I was like, what in the hell is
Tusk is a fucking masterpiece. That is like I put Tusk up there with like movies like Psycho and how great films like that.
Maybe I need to wait just a little bit longer and rewatch it again. I don't know.
Artsy films. Like I feel like Tusk is an artsy film.
But I guess I just couldn't get past the whole guy getting turned into a walrus or whatever in the heck he got.
I mean, that would probably be one. Like that's a fear I never thought I would have until watching that movie. Like imagine somebody taking you, turning you into an animal, and you have to live the rest of your life as that animal. How terrifying is that?
I mean, I guess it is terrifying, but also it's like
you think it was too comedic. Is that you think that might have been
points in time where I don't know if I felt bad for the animal he had become. You know, like how you look at a puppy dog that's been abused or, another animal that's been abused. When he first got completely changed into the animal, he looked so sad. And it reminded me, I guess it depressed me a little bit. That part depressed me. And
I mean, it's like, because that is, I could see how that could be depressing. Like,
and then the other stuff, I guess I just didn't get. And Kevin Smith's movies, yeah, they can be vulgar and stuff. Some of the Jay and Silent Bob stuff, I mean, was was kind of vulgar, but I didn't mind it. This was like, I guess it was one of those movies where the characters, but even the character that gets turned into the animal, I was like, I didn't like those people. I
Mm.
thought they were
You,
obnoxious and
you didn't like what's his name, Coley Joe Osment.
I mean, probably he was the best of them because
He still looks the fucking same.
I liked Haley Joel Osment when he was a kid, and I guess I hold no ill will towards him, but and I don't hold any ill will towards the other characters. They were just doing a job. They were, doing what they were told to do pretty much with these characters. With they probably added things here and there, but it was just the characters themselves that I didn't like. I
Mm.
thought most of them were obnoxious and all that. And but that's been a lot of newer movies have been like that, where the like, oh, Curly Josh, you're a young person, but I don't think you're an obnoxious asshole. But when we see these young people in these movies, they're all obnoxious assholes. And I just want to say, just shut the hell up and somebody kill your ass so I don't have to see you and hear you anymore. You know, and I don't.
I always say I feel like I grew up in the wrong decade. I feel like I should have been born in like the 70s or 60s or something like
Yeah,
that.
because I mean, you like a lot of the new stuff, but your mindset, your personality, and how you treat people is nothing like most of the rest of your generation.
No, and
So,
that's I just like I
and I'm
so I'm
thankful
like
for that too, because we got enough assholes running around here. We don't need any more. So I'm glad that you and a few other people that are part of your generation are not like that. But the other half of them, again, with the exception of old Curly Jaws, are like that kid that I was talking about that was in front of me that met Sam Raimi. They're
th-
these super annoying
I'm sorry if I heard that kid, if I was in that line, I probably would have hit him with sweet chin music. Just be
I
like,
I mean, me and Steve were like, "Oh my god," and Steve was like, "You better be glad that those other people that he didn't even know that he was just rambling on this nonsense about too. Be glad that they were there because otherwise he would have been talking to us and telling us all that stuff and aggravating the hell out of us." I said, "Yeah, I guess so," but it's like
mhm,
it's like I said when Uncle Bill was on here. It's like that when I go to restaurants, and it's not all kids. It's some old, adults that are talking like that. It's like they can't have a normal conversation.
mhm,
It's like they got to be like they're explaining just like I said, it's like they're explaining the Kennedy assassination, or they're trying to explain space exploration or something like that. It's like they're a professor at college up there teaching kids about different historical things, and it's just boring and
mhm,
unnecessary. And I just want
mhm.
to scream at them, why don't can't you talk normally? Just like we're talking on here. Can't you talk normally? Why do you have to talk like you're standing in front of a college class trying to teach a class?
I
You know?
mean that'd be pretty. I like to do that, but I
Oh,
don't want to go.
I
But I
love
don't want to go to school. I'm like I've done school. I'm like I don't want to go back to school.
I like to teach, but there's a place and a time for teaching because I've taught computer classes and I love it. But when I'm out, with friends or with Steve or something, and we're just having a normal
Mhm,
conversation in a restaurant, I don't talk like that. I don't talk like when I'm teaching. And it seems like these people have a problem with being able to separate. a professional discussion from a discussion you have with family members or friends or something like that. And it's just, I don't know. I don't understand it at all. Let's see. Texas, you say he said at one point he was going to make a sequel to Red State, or at least a movie with the same cast. I think I remember that. X-Ray says Tusk has Eli Roth type characters.
I see. I like Eli Roth's films. So I'm like,
I still don't really like Eli Roth's films, but as I've said before on other streams, I have a greater appreciation for Eli Roth as a movie fan ever since he was on The Last Drive-In and Joe Bob was talking to him. And Eli Roth he no longer seemed to be that cocky asshole type that I thought he was before. He seemed like a genuine movie fan when he was talking to Joe Bob. And I'm like, hey, this version of Eli Roth is pretty cool. I like this Eli Roth. He was normal acting. But Cabin Fever is probably the only one of Eli Roth's films that I can say that I watched, honestly. I just can't. I can't stomach Hostel because, and it has nothing to do with the kind of gross stuff that happens later. It's that whole thing about those guys being overly sexed or whatever they are and going to that. Where did they go? Oh, Curly Jaws. Was that like, it wasn't porno? What was it, like a peep show?
it was like a horror house kind of thing with
Okay.
like. But I love Hostel's one of my all-time favorite horror films. Like that movie's brutal. Like when people say Saw is like the made that like made it that like the most glorious film. No, Hostel is better.
But that's okay. Like I say, to each his own. I'm not going to berate somebody for liking
No.
something or not liking something. That's not what I'm all about. I might say I don't understand it, why they like it, or why somebody likes a certain thing or doesn't like. But I'm not going to say, well, you're just stupid or you're wrong. You know, I would never say that to anybody. And people, people get damn right ugly sometimes.
Yeah.
Nobody in here, but I've heard Movie Junkie John say that people have gotten on him on the internet and they've made people afraid to express an opinion about things because all they want to do is argue and fight about it. And why can't you just have a good, healthy debate? Is what I want to know about it.
Those people are special.
I guess. X-Ray makes a good point. He says, I think the internet has scrambled people's brains. I think some people it has. I mean, some people are just fried completely. But I wanted to see how many, and Curly Jaws, like I said, you are welcome to stay on here as long as you want. Even if you're not watching the movie, that is fine. But I did want to kind of take a quick poll, and for those of you that have your own copy of Bad Dreams to watch and are planning on doing this, participating in the watch along, just let me know when you're queued up, because I am queued up at the very beginning of the movie, just the black screen before the movie.
Unfortunately, I do gotta go because I gotta be at work at 6 a.m.
Oh, holy cow. Yeah, you better get some rest, Curly Jaws. But I want to thank you for coming on for a little while. I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. I saw you going live. I'm like, I'll stop by and chat for a while.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you did, but I hope you get enough rest because I know it's after 8 now, so you better get some rest. 6 a.m. is going to come pretty quickly.
Unfortunately.
And it's crappy that you got to work on a Sunday, too.
Yeah, I hate work on Sundays.
Well, again, thank you for stopping by. You're welcome back anytime. that you want to come on.
Definitely.
And you get some rest and don't work too hard tomorrow.
I'll see y'all later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Okay. So, Texas, you don't have the movie. Rooster says he's ready. So, well, Texas, you're welcome to stay as long as you want. Anybody is welcome to stay in here as long as they want. Um, I am not requiring you to watch the movie. I'm not going to say, hey, you can't stay in here if you don't have the movie to watch, because um, unfortunately, I made every effort to try to get a digital, some kind of link, and was unable to find one. And like I said, John has kind of been absent from streams for a little bit due to, like I said, personal reasons. But if anybody else, I know 71 is also good at finding those, but I don't think 71 has been, I haven't seen her in here tonight. She may, be resting or any number of things, may be busy with something else. She's also good at finding things. So, if anybody is able to find one and wants to join in, and if you join in later, just ask for a timestamp. I'll be glad to give that to you. But Texas, you say LOL. I was planning on staying till, or unless Blissful kidnaps me. Yeah, you guys are both welcome to stay on as long as you want. I'm glad to have you here, whether you're watching the movie or you're not watching the movie. X-Ray, are you planning on watching the movie tonight? Again, even if you're not, you're welcome to stay. I'm going to give a minute or two to see if there's anybody else that needs to get synced up. And then I'll go ahead and get started, because Rooster, like I said, he says he's ready. We might have some more people come in here a little bit later, and if they have their own copy of it and want to, go along with the watch along, then we can all, me and Rooster can give them a timestamp for it. I don't know why StreamYard's still not calculating how many viewers I've got. Like I said, StreamYard's been acting funky for me for like the past week or so. I don't know if it's because they're making alterations to it. I don't think it's anything to do with my internet. Internet's been working fine with everything else. I don't know if I'm pausing or anything on y'all's end. Y'all can let me know if it's really bad or anything. Actually, I'm going to look at my AT&T modem router thing here. Looks like everything's working groovy over there. So, I'm not using my mixer tonight, guys. I know Steve used my mixer last night for the Miami connection watch along that Dead Pit was doing. It was Steve and Wes, or CK, Uncle Bill, and Garrett. And they all did a watch along for Miami connection last night. So I hope some of you guys were able to get in on that. So I think we're going to go ahead and get started. I think Brandon, bless his heart, I think he's finally calmed down a little bit. He probably went in there and went to sleep. I think he's asleep in the little bed in the kitchen. So I may have to run and get myself something to eat or something like that, but I will leave the movie running. I wish that I could stream it on here, and not have to worry about getting kicked off of YouTube, and I'm afraid that might get me kicked off YouTube. So I'm just going to play it safe and not do that. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to do the 3, 2, 1 here in just a second. And so everybody that's watching, we're going to do the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Press play. And hopefully, and we got the 20th Century Fox. Okay, just making sure I've got my sound. Ah, crud. Sorry, guys. I think I messed this thing up here. Sorry about that. Rooster, I'm sorry if you started. I hit the wrong thing and made my... Okay. So we're back to the 20th Century Fox logo here. About 18, 19 seconds in. I'll have to quit messing with that. A No Frills film production is coming up there. This was a movie that Andrew Fleming directed. I'm not sure what else Andrew Fleming has done. Maybe somebody can fill me in on that. I think this was another film that I discovered in my video rental days. Probably a rental was where I first saw this. And we're first shown like the back of Richard Lynch's head, who Richard Lynch is essentially, in my eyes, he's playing a Charles Manson type of cult leader character. And we're going to see other kind of reminiscent things to the whole Charles Manson cult. And this is I don't know, this is a spooky ass house from the outside. So on the inside, you're seeing the Cynthia character being guided in by Richard Lynch's character of Harris. There's music playing, and these people here look very innocent looking. The cult members they're showing, with the exception of Harris. But later on, when it's going to show like flashback footage, some of the girls they show are kind of dirty. Their hair's unkempt and all that. And they're talking about, he burns for your sins, and he brought a bird back to life and all that stuff. And that's very reminiscent of the way Charlie's Girls talked about Manson. Now, this is a very creepy scene. This was a scene that stuck with me for a long time after watching this. It's very, very disturbing. What Harris is actually doing there is pouring or ladling gasoline on top of the cult members. And this is also very Jim Jones-like. These people are all going up to him with no reservations at all, and with the exception of Cynthia, who seems a little unsure here. And they're just going up and allowing themselves to be covered in gasoline. And that just is very unnerving. And we're going to see the unfortunate results of Harris doing this in just a second or so. So we're seeing the outside of the house here. You hear a baby crying, and then they're screaming and flames and all this. This is what I mean. This is probably, the rest of the movie is more typical horror movie stuff. But this is very, very disturbing, because we all know historically there have been cults that have committed suicide over the years. So I think that, at least for me, I think this is why this is so disturbing. Once that part is over, other than it showing the flashbacks to the cult members, the ones that I say look like Charles Manson's girls or Charlie's Girls. Jennifer Rubin is in this. Bruce Abbott, Richard Lynch, of course. Dean Cameron is also in this, and there's Dean Cameron's name right there. Who I met Dean Cameron a few years ago, and he was really cool to meet. And also Harris Yulin is in this as well. So they're under the impression, the cops are, that it was an accident. And of course, we as watchers of the film know it's not. So they found a survivor. You can see that that's Cynthia. And Jennifer Rubin is not playing Cynthia there, but in later scenes, she will be playing Cynthia. That is obviously a different actress. And I like this song that's going to start playing here as she's been taken away in the ambulance. So they're saying that Harris is among the dead. It seems that only Cynthia survived the fire and the explosion. This song that's playing is very reminiscent, at least to me, of late 60s, early to mid 70s music, which is really my cup of tea. So because StreamYard's kind of screwed up with me being able to keep tabs on how many people are in here. If y'all want to comment on anything at any point in time, that is awesome. Otherwise, I probably won't know how many people are still in here because, like I said, it's pretty screwed up. It's still showing 0, and it was showing 0 as a lot of you came in here. So I'm guessing it's messed up. I probably could check. Probably could check YouTube, and it's telling me there are four viewers right now. So it said we had 8 at one time, 6. We went down to 4, which is, it's fine. It might be something with YouTube, the syncing up with YouTube as well. So let me go. Now here's where I was talking about these up here. These girls that they're showing now remind me so much of, the Squeaky Fromm, some of the even how Leslie Van Houten, Patricia Krenwinkel, Denise Atkins, all of them acted early on during the trials and stuff like that. And you'll hear Harris talking about, see, this is very Manson-like. I could kill you, but I won't, These look totally different than the people that were in the house at the beginning. See, if I kill you, it's because I love you. The girl laughing, really kind of crazy. And this is going to slowly fade into Cynthia waking up from a coma that she's been in for like 13 years. And here is the introduction to, and there's Harris Yulin there, but this is the introduction to Jennifer Rubin playing Cynthia. And of course, they're doing a press conference because everybody's interested in this girl who's been in a coma for 13 years that was the only surviving member of this Unity Fields cult. And basically, her only family was the cult. There's Jennifer Rubin there looking very lovely, I think. She looks almost angelic in this movie, at least in the early scenes. And Harris Yulin is playing her psychiatrist, or he's the head psychiatrist. And then they're going to have another doctor that is doing the group therapy sessions, played by Bruce Abbott. Now, there's Dean Cameron. The introduction to Dean Cameron is really quite comical because Cynthia thinks that this is the doctor and it's not. And everybody else there obviously knows that this is him just playing around. Oh, and also E.G. Daily there, for those of you that saw that quick flash of her. She is also in this movie as well. So the real doctor come in here and it's like, Ralph, cut the shit, get out of my chair. Yes, Rooster, I agree. Dean Cameron, too funny. Yes. And, I said this a little earlier, but I don't know if you were in here, Rooster, and I was talking about, well, yeah, you were. I was talking about when I met Dean Cameron and how cool and nice he was. Actually, I met Dean Cameron and Gary Riley, both who were in summer school together as Chainsaw and Dave. So, yeah, that was a really cool meeting for me. And the picture I have with Dean Cameron, it looks like he's leaning on my shoulder. So I just had a lot of fun with both of those guys. They were just very, very awesome. But guys, I'm going to step away and get me something to eat really quickly and run to the restroom. But I'm going to leave the movie running. And Rooster, if you can see the chat, if anybody comes in and wants to know the timestamp, if you can please share that with them, that would be great. Thank you, Rooster. You say I read Dean Cameron ad-libbed a lot in this movie. I think I'd heard that too. Sorry for the rattling of a bag here, but I'm trying to get my pretzels open. I tried to grab something real quick, so I wasn't gone for a super long time. But I was drinking this energy drink, and it made me. I had to go to the restroom. Not that you guys need to know that, but anyway. Um, so let's go back to the movie here. So this is kind of starts the beginning of Cynthia seeing things, and she's not sure if she's really seeing Harris or, it's still like trauma to do with trauma or. So this is going to be a real, like, he looks semi-normal there, but not there. I think they did a really good job with the makeup effects on this, too. This was still, thankfully, in the days of practical effects. So she's pretty much convinced that Harris, escaped, with his life, although badly burned from the fire and explosion. And now they're back in group therapy. And Bruce Abbott's character is going to have them do a session where an activity, I guess, to be able to let out some hidden aggression. So they've got all these pillows, and they're basically going to yell and scream into the pillows. But Cynthia is still too traumatized by what happened in the elevator earlier that she's not participating. And the girl there with the glasses, she keeps talking about his power is transcending and all that stuff. And it seems that she knows what Cynthia knows and that she's seen Harris as well. Oh, Brandon, bless his heart. I think I woke him up being in the kitchen. Guys, I'm so sorry I'm coughing all of a sudden, but I'm beginning to think it's allergies a lot because I used to not have allergies at all. I'm not that anybody's going to be interested in this, but now it seems like every bit of dust, every bit of dog hair just messes my throat all up and tickles my throat, and I cough every little thing. I mean, evidently the salt on these pretzels is making me cough. So now we're flashing back to, it's like the older Cynthia is back in Unity Fields, and Harris is getting ready to drop the match that's going to light everybody on fire. And he's saying things like, "Our love will never die." And the people are just looking like they're just completely at peace, which again is very, very disturbing to me. And they basically just sit there and wait to be engulfed in flames. Even a couple with their kids, there's babies. It's just terrifying. Even though I know that this didn't really happen, we know that similar things had happened with other cult members, with real cults. For instance, the Jim Jones cult. And some of those people went willingly, and those that didn't go willingly, those that didn't drink the cyanide laced Kool-Aid, were instead injected with it with needles, and babies and children were given it, being forced to drink it and stuff like that. It's just very, very disturbing. So it seems that the young Cynthia, we're slowly beginning to realize that she ran. Brandon. And that's how she escaped dying. Hold on, guys. We'll leave the movie running. Brandon. I want to get you your pill, okay? I need some food. So sorry, guys. I had to step away. But I had to get Brandon's pill for him, his nightly pill. So the cop's not buying that Cynthia is just now remembering what happened. He thinks maybe, as he put it, maybe she poured gasoline on the babies and helped set the place on fire, which we know is obviously not true, but it's really affecting Cynthia. And so E.G. Daly's character is trying to explain. She says, I know how you feel. There's a hole in my heart, or there's a hole where my heart's supposed to be, and it feels empty. And then she said, maybe there's a little hope for me, sort of. And Cynthia's not in the right frame of mind to be able to help anybody. But E.G. Daly's basically saying, if you need a friend here, and then she says, all of my friends are dead. And then she says, if you need a new friend. But again, Cynthia is not in the right state of mind to be able to accept this. And she just wants to be left alone. So E.G. Daly's character of Lana is visibly upset at this point. And Miriam is going to get angry at Cynthia. She says, look, Lana may be a little weird even for this place, but she means well. And she says, she's reaching out. We all are. You should try to help her. Cynthia says, I can't help myself. So I will say there's a lot of truth to this movie. And as somebody who, and I'm not meaning to get too personal here, but as someone who has dealt with emotional distress, depression, anxiety over the years, as I know some of you guys have, I really got something out of this film other than entertainment value because it's a horror movie. I really understand, I haven't been in a cult. I was not part of any kind of real super traumatic experience, but I understand being depressed, being unable to deal with certain things. I understand all of that. So in this way, this movie soothed me because, not the horrific aspects, but just the people with emotional problems trying to deal with all of this and it being overwhelming and being too much. I was like, yeah, I've been there. I understand that. Outside of the whole horror aspect of the movie, I get that emotional distress. And so I hope that over any of you out there that have or are dealing with anything, any kind of emotional distress, depression, anxiety, even if you're dealing with trauma, I'm hoping that you're able to get something out of this, to see how these people kind of learn to pull together. Even though we're going to see some of them get killed off over the course of the movie. So, Lana, it appears that Lana has drowned herself. So, Cynthia thinks it's Harris. And at this point in time, we're not really sure. Is it Harris? Because she keeps saying Harris, and Harris basically tells her if she doesn't join the rest of the crew, then he will take one of her friends in her place. So she's thinking that this is really coming to pass, that Harris is taking these people. I don't think I ever noticed that Dean Cameron's character of Ralph has an earring, but he does. So Ralph kind of, had a moment where he flipped out a little bit there. And we don't know why yet, but we're going to come to find out But Cynthia's really had it with these different things that are happening. Rooster, you say me too, Dana. I get it. So, in connection with that, I guess that's why sometimes these movies will soothe me. And again, it's not the horrific elements that are soothing me, it's the camaraderie and the need and wanting to be healed, wanting the mind to be healed, and the discussions that the different characters have in this movie. For instance, the discussion that Miriam is trying to have with Cynthia here. She's basically saying, no, we got to get you out of here. We got to get you to someplace nice, like at the beach or in the mountains, where you can fight your own demons in your own way. And Cynthia says, I don't know anybody. I don't have any money. But Miriam says, me, I used to write for a national publication, something called Me Magazine. And she said they carried me off to this funny farm. Saul, the editor, told me you're welcome back anytime. Now, at this point in time, you're not sure if Miriam is just off her rocker, if she's just making all this up in her head, or she really did work for, it seems like a tabloid. And she's telling Cynthia she should tell people about Unity Field and how they turn decent ideas and stuff into something sick and poisonous. Until Cynthia finally says, I want to live. So here's a story behind this. I'm going to wait till it gets up to the point. So Miriam acts like something is really disturbing her here. And we're not sure what it is. We're going to find out. And I don't want to give it away until we actually get to it. But she seems distracted. And Bruce Abbott basically says, ladies, it's nice to see you socializing. So Miriam's going to go and get in the elevator here. And something very frightening is going to occur here. Okay, so we see Miriam headed for the elevator. And there's someone else in the elevator. This cart's going to be moved out of the way. And oh, it is Harris. And the doors have already shut, but Cynthia knows that something bad is going to happen. Because every time Harris is around, something bad happens to somebody. Oh, that looks like it would hurt. So unfortunately, there's Miriam's bag, but Miriam's nowhere to be seen. And there goes Miriam out the window. Now you will hear screams if you got the sound going for this. Now the story is that there was a real mental hospital or mental health facility across the road from where they were filming this. And when the dummy fell out the window there, some of the patients saw it and were horrified that they saw an actual person jump outside or jump out the window. So that is, I believe, some of the screams you heard there. Like I said, if you have your audio playing, were real patients at the mental health facility across the street. So, note to filmmakers, maybe you should make sure you're not doing something horrific right across the street from a mental health facility. Brandon. So, Rooster, I think you're the only one really chatting now, because probably you're the only one besides me that's watching or is able to watch the movie right now. So anything you want to say, just feel free to put it in the chat. Like I said, I can't, it's showing me that I've got 0 people, but if I go to YouTube and look at it, it tells me there are 5 people in here. So, again, I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. And again, I'm sorry I'm coughing. So Bruce Abbott is trying to comfort Cynthia. And meanwhile, this couple here really is a couple, I'm guessing. And they're into therapy together. So don't worry, guys. I mean, these aren't the youngest people that are doing this, but we're not going to see any nudity. So Bruce Abbott's telling her she's not responsible for what happened to Lana and Miriam, and she thinks she is, because Harris keeps coming to her and telling her, if you don't join us, then I'm going to take one of your friends here. And we see Harris walking behind the couple. And they're evidently finding a place to make love. And I don't want to give anything away, but they're going to go somewhere where there's a big turbine of some sort. Brandon, sorry guys to have to keep stepping away, but what is it, Brandon? Maybe you cannot go in there if you're going to bark. Sammy, go sit down. Why don't you lay down, buddy, okay? So everybody see that big, or that's watching can see that big turbine back there. And basically, that can't mean anything good, right? They're going to open the door and go over there. Now they're looking at it. And all of a sudden, the power went out. And this whole woman is clearly upset. And everything is just overloaded circuits. So there's something stuck in the turbine. So Cynthia's hearing a voice saying her name. She thinks that's Connie. And it was Connie and Ed that went dangerously close to the turbine a little bit earlier. So this guy, I guess a maintenance guy is going to check things out. And I don't think this is going to end well. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, there's some blood dripping. Oh, no. Blood and little bits and pieces of something. There's a hand. I think we figured out what happened to Connie and Ed. Now, this scene coming up, to me, is reminiscent of Suspiria. Only instead of like maggots coming out, something else is going to come out of these vents here. Besides hairs. And she's asking Harris where are Connie and Ed. And he says they're with us now. Oh, no. This is kind of disturbing. But again, I think this is very reminiscent of Suspiria when the maggots start coming out of the ceiling. This is a little bit more gory. And Ralph wants to know what the fuck's going on because, you know, it's just him and the other girl. And of course, Bruce Abbott's trying to explain it as they think they were drinking and they fell into the turbine. And Ralph's clearly getting upset. And he said, do you expect us to take that as an explanation? And he says they drank lots of times, or Ed drank lots of times, but he never wanted to jump in the mix master. Gilda, that's the other girl's name. So they're still mopping up all the blood. So Cindy is going to leave, but he's not going to let her. So he's basically saying he's going to keep her company tonight. We're going to have a nice, boring evening. You know, he's got some snacks or provisions, as he calls them, junk food. Because these cops and security people aren't very good at making sure people don't escape. So, Jennifer Rubin was also in Nightmare on Elm Street 3, which also had to do with nightmares. It had to do with a burned individual in Freddy Krueger. So Ralph is getting ready to do something here. Very disturbing. He just put the knife through his hand. And if you noticed earlier, I think I had stepped away at that point in time. When Cynthia, it's one of the earlier scenes where Ralph comes up to her and talks during the exercise time, and he tells her that when things get too much, he makes a little hole and he raises up his shirt, and there's all these pinholes that he has made on his body. So, Brandon, you're getting tangled up in my stuff again, buddy. Oh, no. So he basically knocked the cop out, and you hear very loud rock music. And he shows up and just says, "Oh, how are you?" to Cynthia. And he says, "I'm just here to let you know everything's okay." Now she sees his bloody hand. How's he going to explain that? So she begins to follow Ralph. And we can tell by the earlier scene that Ralph is clearly agitated. Uh-oh, there's blood there. That's not right. So he's kind of like he's, I hate to mention hunting here, but it's almost like tracking deer. You know, my dad, that's how he would track deer through the woods after they'd been shot. And I know that sounds gruesome, but that's the first thing it reminded me of. So, you know, instead of following like breadcrumbs in a fairy tale, Dr. Carmen, Bruce Abbott's character, is following drops of blood. And he's not sure at this point where the blood's coming from. Does it come from Cynthia? Is it coming from something else? So Ralph is becoming more and more agitated and more violent. And he's going back and forth from one extreme to the other. He's screaming at her to relax. So he's taking her down to, I guess, like the hospital archives. She's wanting to go back upstairs, and he's like, "No, I gotta talk to you." And so he's just going completely ape right here, throwing boxes around. He pulled the, I'm guessing that's the elevator power box off the wall. And she tells him she doesn't think he's being himself, which he's obviously not. So he tells her he comes down there a lot to unwind, but he's obviously something else is going on. He says it always worked before. He can't figure out why he's not getting calmed down. Oh no, that's not good. So he's found a box of scalpels. So they're headed down to the sub basement. Dr. Carmen and the two cops there. And he's like, he's holding two scalpels, and he said, "Oh, what was I going to talk to you about?" And he's just talking nonsense, basically. And she doesn't understand what he's trying to say. So she asks him, what wouldn't you like to talk to a doctor? And she doesn't have any idea what he's talking about. He's becoming more agitated and is carving the word unity on his arm with the scalpel. And he's saying, "Join us, Cynthia, in unity. It's beautiful in unity." So I don't know why the cop draws the gun, but he says these are not knives, these are fine surgical instruments. So then Ralph seems to come to, some sense, but no, he's using the scalpels to slice himself up. And he just says later. That is kind of a comical but gruesome ending to Ralph. Texas, you're just listening to the description. Well, that's okay. This may encourage you. You may want to see it after this. Which actually, this movie's not a very long movie. It's just under 90 minutes. I think it's like an hour and 25, hour and 24 minutes. Hold on, guys. Brandon's barking again. Sandy, be quiet. Be quiet. Hush. Don't say anything. Okay. Brandon. Sandy, go sit down. Guys, I really am so sorry that I have to get up so many times. Because these dogs, they're just restless, bless their hearts. So they're going to put Cynthia in isolation, and Dr. Carmen is saying isolation is the worst place for her. But the main guy, played by Harris Yulin, is, not listening. And so he's saying, Alex, I know you're fond of the girl, but you're way out of line. Cynthia says goodbye. Thanks for trying to help me. And so she's just passively, going with them to isolation. And Dr. Carmen's saying, you're killing her with your theories. So now basically the head guy is firing Dr. Carmen. He's saying your tenure is over, Alex. And he was just about, he said that he would release Cynthia into police custody if they'd let him continue as her doctor. Well, now he's lost his job, so he can't do that anymore. So, Brandon, please, honey. What's wrong, boy? Guys, I'm going to have to step away for just 1 second. Hopefully, I'll be back here in time to discuss the rest of this. No. Brandon. Another rat. So it appears that, from the way she sees Harris and she's talking to Harris, but when the nurse was watching on the monitor, she didn't see anybody but Cynthia. So it looks like Cynthia has just completely lost her mind. So Gilda is, it appears that she's just talking some kind of nonsense, and Dr. Carmen is kind of angrily leaving. He said, hey, better release some hidden aggression. Feel better? No. And he's just throwing a bunch of stuff. So he finds some pill in his pocket. So he's going to think, oh, he says, officer, I'll write myself a prescription in the morning. And I think he thinks this is some kind of sedative. But it's going to turn out this is something totally different. So Gilda we're not sure where she's going. And again, people are not doing a very good job of watching out for these patients. So she's going back to her room. She's going to hold her doll. And there's cleaning fluid there. Everybody see that that's watching? And it looks like Harris is there in the room with her. She says, I knew you'd come, but you're too late. I warned her. I told her what she had to do. You won't get to her. And clearly that's poison. And you won't get to me. I always thought before that she was drinking like rubbing alcohol, but it's some kind of very poisonous cleaning fluid that seems to be kind of steaming there. So now we're back to Dr. Carmen, who is seeming to get more visibly agitated like Ralph was. So pay attention to this because this is going to give you a clue to what's actually been going on. So there is the other doctor walking out to his car. Dr. Carmen seems to be getting some idea in his head. We're not sure exactly what he's going to do here. We're going to find out really quickly. He's whistling along to the radio, acting like he doesn't have a care in the world. Is he leaving or... There's opera music playing, and he's got the doctor in his sights. Oh, damn. You don't like the way I drive, Dr. Addicted Buttface? He calls him, then stay out of the parking lot. I always thought that was a funny line, Dr. Addicted Buttface. And he says touchdown, and he's not going to run into the doctor once. He's really doing a number on him, isn't he? Brandon. He says I'm exerting my will, doctor. And so we assume at this point that this is all happening, but all of a sudden, Dr. Carmen has come out of whatever drug-induced nightmare he was into, and he's probably thinking, holy shit, why did a pill that I thought was meant to relax me make me have that horrific vision? So Harris is asking Cynthia, are you ready for unity? And she's saying, why don't you just kill me? He says, no, you got to do it yourself. Excuse me. So he's basically going to give her a needle with something in it. So Dr. Carmen says, or the other doctor says, you look like shit. And he says, I want to see the prescriptions for all the patients. And you know, he's basically telling him, you can't look at those. That's Beresford's business. The other guy's wanting to talk about a nurse and her legs. And so Beresford evidently fills the prescriptions, and Dr. Carmen's wanting to know why he's just singing standard stuff when there's obviously something else going on here. So he's wanting to find out what Ralph was prescribed to take. And he says, is this lithium? And he said, no, this is the opposite of lithium. You give this to a normal person, they'll flip out. If you give it to somebody like Ralph, it would be terrible. He says, you take one of these, you walk on the ceiling. You take this, you spend the rest of your life talking to vegetables. Some of the stuff, he says, they don't even take it anymore. Two of these, Mother Teresa becomes a maniac. And he said, I don't know what this is. Haven't even seen this on the streets. Liquefied THC. And he says it's 100 cc's of this and everybody in Detroit gets wasted. And Dr. Carmen's basically had enough. Richard, you said you thought that was your dog. My dogs are running around looking for the noise. LOL. That's how you fill a prescription. Amy, be quiet. Brandon, please. Go like this. Go in here. Go in here and go lay down. Go get some bed, please, and stop barking. Sammy, go sit down. Oh, so sorry, guys. And I'm sorry if my dogs are making your dogs get wound up, Rooster. Yeah, that's how you fill a prescription, break the glass. Exactly. So Dr. Carmen is telling Cynthia it's not Harris that's doing this. This is Beresford. Well, basically, Beresford's trying to prove a theory, and his theory won't be proven unless everybody kills themselves. So Beresford is basically completely crazy. But she's seeing Harris. It looks like a doctor just walked by and I'm not paying any attention at all. So Dr. Carmen's not dead. Guys, I am so sorry. So, guys, hopefully I won't have to get up 50 more times before the end of this movie, which is almost over. We got about 10 more minutes. Beresford is up on the rooftop with Cynthia, trying to get her to jump. And now Dr. Carmen's up there. So basically, Beresford's telling her that it's her choice to do this, but she's got to make the choice. She's got to decide, act. And all he's trying to prove is his freaking theory. So we didn't know if Cynthia fell or not. It looks like she fell into Unity Field, where the house is still not destroyed by a fire and explosion. Guys, I'm so sorry that things have to be this way every time I get ready to do a thing. I can't do anything anymore without these dogs carrying on all the time. Well, yeah, I understand, Rooster, but I have an old, feeble, sick dog, and all the poor guy does is pace, and he has mobility problems, and he cries and barks when he can't get up and move around. And then Sammy, one of the younger dogs, barks at him, and I'm just afraid that it's going to wake Steve up. Yeah, I mean, I got what you were talking about before, Rooster. That's fine. So basically, Dr. Carmen is holding on to Cynthia, so she's hasn't fallen. Brandon, enough. People are going to think I'm mean to you. Please go lay down. I'm almost done with this. Just let me get through it. That's all I'm asking. So Dr. Carmen's basically telling Cynthia, don't give up. You've got to help me. And Beresford's basically saying, Alex, let her go. She's made her choice. And he's like, fuck you. He says, that's the wrong answer, Alex. And so Beresford's trying to make them both fall. So he's basically just stabbing Dr. Carmen in the hand to try to get him to let go. So now the detective is there with some cops. And he's saying, how in the hell did she get down there? He says, Lieutenant, I'm glad you're here. Alex was caught red-handed. And he's trying to blame it on Dr. Carmen. And he's trying to blame it on Dr. Carmen, saying he orchestrated everything. He switched the medicines, and this is all stuff that Dr. Beresford did. So Beresford's crazy. And Cynthia's had enough. She pushes Beresford over the edge there, and Beresford is no longer. And I love this lieutenant. That he just shrugs his shoulders and walks away. And he's telling her it was Beresford all along. There's no Harris. But she's still seeing Harris. I mean, that she's still traumatized. He's telling her there's nothing there. There's nothing to be scared of. So we're basically going to dissolve into the end credits here, which has Sweet Child of Mine playing, which I think is a great song to end this with. Now, I have a little quibble about this. I think that Guns N' Roses, who sang this song, I believe they wanted to use scenes from the movie in the music video for Sweet Child of Mine. However, one of the girlfriends of one of the guys in the band, I believe, and Texas may correct me if I'm wrong on this because he's the big music guy, but it was my understanding that this girlfriend did not want a horror movie used in a video for a song that was written about her. And I'm like, that's just stupid, basically to me. I don't know who the girlfriend was. I don't know her name. I just thought that was a very stupid thing. So many, many years ago, I took the song Sweet Child of Mine and made my own video with clips from the movie. Unfortunately, I don't think I was able to put it out anywhere like on YouTube because it probably would have gotten kicked off of there. So Rooster, you say I read that too? Okay, so I'm not totally off my rocker there. So Texas, if you're still in here, if you can add anything additional to that, or if you've heard anything else about that story about Sweet Child of Mine and the movie, you say that's possible, but I don't remember. Okay, gotcha. But there was also an alternate ending to this, which I think if you have I believe if you have the Scream Factory Bad Dreams Visiting Hours double feature Blu-ray, I believe that you can see that alternate ending to this, which I think is really interesting. And, I like this ending. I mean, this ending, came full circle. But I think the other ending, the alternate ending, was probably a little bit more creative, maybe, I guess is the way to put it. So, and I think you can also see the alternate ending on YouTube. So if you just put in Bad Dreams alternate ending, I'm sure you would be able to find it if you're interested in seeing it and you don't have this Blu-ray. So, well, I believe the credits are getting ready to be over with. So Brandon's finally, I think, bless his heart, calmed down a little bit. It's about time because it's almost 10 o'clock. But I want to thank Rooster. I want to thank you for kind of hanging out with me and being able to watch the movie with me. Thank you, Texas, for hanging out. Blissful, X-Ray, all the gang that was in here. Oh, Curly Jaws and Uncle Bill for coming in on the stream for a little bit. And Uncle Bill sharing his experiences at the Lexington Comic Con today, which kind of bookended with my reminiscence of the day's events. It's always nice to get another perspective on things. I want to thank old Curly Jaws for being in here with me as well, and talking about things. And I'm hoping that maybe some people that couldn't stay, if they have not seen Bad Dreams, if they want to watch this, maybe not all the way to the end, especially if you haven't seen it, because I wouldn't want to give anything away. Thank you, Rooster. Thank you for stopping by. Texas, did you say you just found some trivia? Oh, if you want to share, that is awesome. I'm probably going to get off of here in a few minutes, maybe a couple minutes or so, but I would love you to share trivia if you would like. So the other thing that I've noticed is my monitor, or my TV, like it's been losing the signal or something. I'm going to go ahead and take this Blu-ray out. Maybe I am. There we go. And unhook this because maybe this is causing some havoc. We'll put this disc back up. So, okay. Texas, you say originally the director wanted X's Burning House of Love used as a closing song, but a record executive wanted them to use Sweet Child of Mine. I think I did hear that too. But did you find anything about Andrew Fleming, the director, saying that maybe it was Guns N' Roses that wanted to use scenes from the movie in the video for Sweet Child of Mine, but that one of their girlfriends didn't want a song that was written about her to have horror movie scenes in the video, which I think is kind of okay. Yeah, you saying yes? Axel's girlfriend. Okay, so it was Axel's girlfriend didn't want a horror film using a song written about her, like you said. Yeah, which I think is a little stupid. I mean, I've never had a song written about me. Maybe I would feel differently. Or maybe not, because I like horror movies. Perhaps Axel's girlfriend didn't like horror movies. Maybe she thought they were distasteful. But at the end of the day, does it really matter? She knows that Axel wrote the song about her. And why should it bother her, really, is my thinking. Or why would it have bothered her back then for horror movie clips to be used? And maybe they weren't planning on using like horrific clips. Maybe they were going to show scenes between Cynthia and Dr. Carmen, who obviously that was kind of turning into what appeared to be a romantic relationship. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard X's Burning House of Love, but I'm betting you have, Texas. So let me ask you this. What do you think would have been the best song if Andrew Fleming had gotten his way and they were able to use X's Burning House of Love? Do you think that would have been a better way to end the movie based on, when I was talking about the movie and the description of what was going on in the movie, do you think Sweet Child of Mine was okay, or do you think that Burning House of Love would have been better? Just like another opinion on that somewhere along the way. So I'm thinking having that Blu-ray player hooked up was what was causing the screen to go black sometimes. I'm hoping it wasn't going black on y'all's end. So, or maybe not the Blu-ray player, but maybe the software I was using. So I just want to remind everybody that I will probably, barring anything happening, I probably will be doing another Sunday night trash tomorrow night. Probably, I might do it at 7. Y'all just stay tuned on the time. Oh my gosh, I just heard something that sounded like gunshots. Sound like it was right in our freaking backyard. That scared the crap out of me. That's all we need is people shooting guns. That sounded exactly like gunshots. I don't know if y'all could hear it on y'all's end or not, but it made my dogs bark. Well, it made Darcy bark anyway. I don't know what in the fuck is wrong with people anymore. They're shooting guns in daggone neighborhoods now. And that sounded like, it didn't sound like a handgun. That sounded like a rifle or something like that. I've been hearing reports of gunshots in Louisville for the past couple of years. Every night, I have that Ring neighborhood app. You'll probably hear sirens here in a second. That did not sound like fireworks. That sounded like gunshots. So that's too close for comfort. So I don't know. Probably somebody will be calling the cops. I look for something to come up on the neighborhood app. That did scare me really bad because I'm in the back part of our house, and that sounds like it was really super close, like a street or two over and back of us, and I don't know what in the hell they would be shooting at. It's almost 10 o'clock at night. I don't know what they're shooting at, but I wish they'd stop that shit. Texas, you say, probably I think X is a much better band. They did Wild Thing for Major League. I'm going to have to check out that song because, see, like I said, I'm not familiar with that band X. So I'd like to check out that Burning House of Love song. And I'm just curious to how it sounds and stuff. So, like I was saying before the gunfire, I am planning on doing another Sunday night trash. I'm still deciding whether it should be 7 or 8 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow night. Maybe, Texas Rooster, if you're still in here, anybody that's still in here watching this at this late hour, would you be more interested in me doing it a little bit earlier, like at 7? Or would you prefer that I did a little bit later at 8? Texas, you say, I think they have their own video for it. Oh, cool. So just let me know in the chat, anybody that's still in here, if you have a preference for time on this tomorrow. I'm just trying to get a feel for what people would like so that we can, be able to have as many people in on it that want to join in on it. You think 7 your time? So I forget, Texas, are you on Eastern time or are you on Central time? Well, I'm flexible though. But I just couldn't remember if you were Central Time or Eastern Time like me. Okay, so you're on Central. So 7 your time, I'm an hour ahead, so that would be 8 my time. So that is perfectly cool with me. So I thought you were on Central Time, but I wanted to double check. So also, I mean, I will be doing some kind of uh, promotion for this, hopefully ahead of time. But the next watch along, sorry here. The next watch along I will be doing will be for April 1st. So guess what? It's going to be April Fool's Day. And then because that is the first of the first week of April, you will be getting a bonus watch along, which means I won't be doing a Sunday night trash that night. But this Sunday, I will be doing a Sunday night trash. So April 1st is April Fool's Day watch along. April 2nd will be City of the Living Dead, aka Gates of Hell watch along. So we've got both of those things coming up. We've got Sunday night trash. Monday will be a continuation of the Hitchcock stream with me and Kelly. So you guys got all of that to look forward to. And I hope, you guys are able to join us for all of those things. And there's, of course, Wednesday. I'm not sure what I'll be doing or if I'll be doing anything on Tuesday. But Wednesday, barring anything happening, TJ and I will be doing the first half of Tales from the Dark Side season 4, or the final season. So we're just about finished up. 2 more weeks and we'll be finished up with Tales from the Dark Side. And I was going to go ahead and do something like monsters, but I think I'm going to hold off on the monsters. And as I said when Uncle Bill was on here, I think I will do Twin Peaks, the original Twin Peaks episodes. And I think Uncle Bill will join me for those. I'm going to check with him and see what night would be best for him to do that. So once me and TJ finish up the next couple of weeks doing the Tales from the Dark Side, then you guys can look forward to Twin Peaks. So I hope there's a lot of Twin Peaks fans that want to hear me and Uncle Bill and possibly some other people maybe discuss the episodes of the original run of Twin Peaks, the David Lynch extravaganza. So I'm going to get off of here before I hear some more gunfire. I hope we don't have any bullets coming through our windows. That probably scared the crap out of Sammy as well, because I didn't even hear him bark when it happened. So he's probably afraid. He's afraid by loud noises anyway. So that probably scared him. But I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. Again, I want to thank Uncle Bill and old Curly Jaws for being in the chat for live on the stream with me for a little bit. I want to thank all of you that were in here, whether you were watching the movie or not. I appreciate you being here nonetheless. And on that note, I am going to skedaddle on out of here for the night, and I will see everyone on the flip side. Y'all have a good night now.